YouTube fam, TeeVee Genie here. This is my third time trying to record this review. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but I'm really getting irritated right now. Anyways, I'm about to review The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 12, Claire. Um, all in all, it was a really good episode. We didn't have as much action and suspense as we usually do, but we did have a couple moments with our usual suspense. I think this episode was more about the symbolism, showing us the preparation for the possible battle between Rick's group and the governor, and to check in on some old friends. Um, so first of all, the episode started with them driving to find guns and some supplies. Um, so they're going along the road, and we see a guy with his camping equipment, flailing his arms, trying to get them to stop. No, of course they passed by. Um, no, I found this extremely hilarious. I don't know if you guys found it hilarious, but I found it hilarious. I know some people might say, "Whoa, you're evil. I can't believe you found that hilarious," but I did. Just the way how he was flailing his arms and his eye, they basically, um, if they thought about it for 1 minute, he'd be okay. I think they thought about it for a couple seconds and they're like, psh, nah. They never even like, even if they thought about the guy, they didn't even contemplate, oh, should we let him in the car? I don't think they did. Um, this scene is really important because it is showing the state of their morals and the state of their compassion at this moment in time. I mean, we've seen coming from season 1 to season 3 how their morals and compassion has, developed. Should I use the word developed? The word I'm trying to say is that their compassion has slowly gone down the crapper um as we've been going along in the seasons. And that scene with the guy, in fact, it was a culmination of scenes. It was three scenes with the same guy. But the first scene is just the start of showing you how even Carl, was just like, well, I mean, I think Carl is the only one who looked back that long. But other than that, everybody else was just like, we can't stop. And, it's understandable because in this Walker world, you guys probably used to me calling it the Walker world, but that's what I'm going to call it. In this Walker world, we're used to with everything that's going on, you can't just stop and pick up somebody on the side of the road because you don't know if you can trust them or what. And they've been burned before. But yeah, I'll be going back to the point about the guy on the side of the road later in this review, but for right now, I'm going to talk about when they finally, reached their destination and they came out of the car now. So they came out of the car, and this is what we see. We see them seeing the arrows on the sidewalk, we see the burnt up walkers, and then we see the pedestrian crossing that read, "Turn around and leave." So of course now in my head, the first thing I was thinking, oh no, they buck up on a cycle now. They're going to buck up on a cycle and, you know, excrement is going to hit the fan. Um, so yeah, this look like it's going to be trouble, right? So I'm like, this is going to be another psychopath that is birthed from the recesses of this walk world or something else. So it turns out I was half right, if I should say, semi right, whatever. Um, I mean, in my head, I was imagining that it was going to be like a group of people with the lead being the psychopath, but it turns out that um, it was a psychopath. Well, it turned out to just be a psychopath who got shot by a car, who's not really a psychopath because he's Rick's friend Morgan from like a million years ago. So, but he was still kind of psycho. I don't know. But yeah, the way how Carl just like bust him a shot in his gut, I was like, yes, go Carl. Carl just bust him a shot, and then I was like, the way how he just shot him so easily was really hilarious, and we have to give Carl his props. I mean, Carl is a good shot right about now, and the way how he just dealing with things like a real man, I rate him because back in the day, I remember I used to cuss every minute about Carl, and these days, I just have to give him his ratings where it is due. Um, yeah. So, what is also weird though, well, what is weird is that before I started to watch the episode, I was there wondering about Morgan randomly. Like, I hadn't thought about Morgan in a while, but then before I started to watch the episode, just in my head, I was thinking, I never even see the synopsis or anything, but in my head, I was thinking about Morgan, and I was wondering if Morgan would still be alive or not, and I was thinking maybe he's not, because I was like, it's a while since I see Rick use the radio and talk to, try and talk to Morgan or anything like that. And then, so we see when the episode started, they showed that scene when he used the radio the last time. Well, I don't know if that was the last time, but yeah, they showed the scene with him using the radio. And I was like, oh, that's so weird how I was thinking about Morgan just before. And turns out that Morgan was in this episode. It turns out that psychopath that I was just rambling about is Morgan. It's really a bummer though that his son died, but I think it was wishful thinking that he would survive because the way how Morgan was going on, he wouldn't even kill the wife, right? And in my what is it now? In my expectation, um, if he never killed the wife, she would always be a problem. He didn't want to kill her, and if he's going to leave the son, he cannot leave the son where he could be susceptible to the wife, right? He left the son doing out there, right? Of course, she's going to get him, and worse than Morgan, Dwayne would want to kill her. He would worse not want to kill her than Morgan. And we already see that Morgan couldn't even bring himself to do it. And then it took his own son getting beat for him to do it. Right? And, I don't want to say Morgan brought it on himself, but it's almost like he did bring it on himself. Um, but yeah. When we saw that, that his son died, it was just a bummer. Um, I get why Michonne would think that he's a psychopath. I mean, at first glance, even I was thinking whoever was there was a psychopath, as I was stating previously. Um, and then when we find out about his son dying, it doesn't cement it more that maybe he's having a psychotic break, but honestly, just from looking at the setup that he had there, with the animals and the spears and all of that, I wouldn't judge him based off that because how else is he going to protect himself? Like maybe he could have found another way, but that is a really ingenious way to protect himself. So I mean, wouldn't you? Isn't that expected that he would want to protect himself? Like, how else would you think he would protect himself from unscrupulous people? It's not like he have a prison. It's not like he have a Woodbury. Um, yeah, but yeah, and like, Mission and they shouldn't judge because the same way how he set up his things and you know, held held the rifle at them and told them to leave and all that is the same way. You can compare it to just in this episode when they drove away and left the guy on the side of the road and all the other occurrences where they kind of just like when people came in the prison, that other prisoners when they didn't want them to stay there, and then when the group B, if you guys remember from the last bag, I was talking about the group of people who came, um, with what's his name, Tyrese or Tyrone or whatever. Yeah, that group, I'm calling them Group B. Yeah, they basically ran them out of the prison, right? Rick was going to run Mission out of the prison. So my whole point is that they shouldn't judge him based off of the setup because he have to protect himself. Um, so yeah, what Morgan was doing wasn't crazy in my opinion. Um, I have to talk about the emergence of Mission's comedic side. Now I've noticed that they're trying to make her funny since the last episode, and it is kind of funny, you know, like the stuff that she's saying. I mean, it was kind of funny when she was sitting in Morgan's house and just chillaxing and just saying, "Yo, I'm eating this food," and he's like, and she's like, Psh, "Nothing is wrong. I mean, the mat did say welcome," and I'm like, "Well, it did say welcome, you know, even though it had the sharp spreads underneath, but." That was kind of funny. I guess I'm looking forward to see what other jokes they're going to bring in with Mission. I guess they're trying to make the show not so serious. I'm not sure why. I mean, maybe they want to just show some light-hearted moments that they can still, you know, give a joke here and there. You know, not everybody's not all depressing all the time. You know, they're still trying to be slightly happy. Um, but yeah. Um, I know some other girls might be just like, why I'm going to this, but yeah. Even though I loathe rats, rodents, um, I felt sorry for the rats that they had there, that Morgan had in the cages that he was using for the workers. I mean, like every day of their little pathetic lives must be so hard because they just have to be there in the cage while the workers try to eat them, and they just have to be there like squealing and hoping that they don't get into the cage and all of that. Yeah, I felt sorry for them. I'm sorry, I felt sorry for them. They were pitiful, they were helpless in the cages. I know that's supposed to have to feel sorry for them. Um, yeah, I don't think any of us can say enough how epic Mission is. I mean, I'm thinking in the next episode I'm going to say the same thing, that she's so epic because she's going to do something epic. But when she just the way how she used her sword with precision to get that walker inside the cafe so that the rest of them wouldn't hear, I was like, yo, go Mission, utter precision. I mean, but anyway, she's always precise. We know her to be precise. Um, yeah. So this is my last point. And it's me going back to the guy that they left on the side of the road. I really felt bad that they left him on the side of the road. But at the same time, I was wondering where the heck has he been all of this time? I mean, how was he surviving before? Because how is it at this late stage he's there walking on the road, you know, unprotected, you don't have a car or anything, right? What make it worse, he's making all this noise when everybody else knows that the walkers are attracted to night. So unless he was in a situation like Rick or the prisoners where he was somewhere and he never he wasn't like susceptible to the walkers. I know he had to leave because his food or whatever, or no, unless it was that. Cause I don't understand how he was there and just doing everything wrong. Um, but in any case, you know, that's a huge piece of symbolism there because it's showing us how bad the moral and everything of the group has gotten. And what even made it worse is that they never just like drive by and, you know, continue. They like went back and took up the dead guy's gear. now I can understand, because if I was in the diseased world that they're in right about now, I would have picked up the gear too, because you need everything you can get. But it's just the symbolism of it all. Um, I'm actually disappointed in myself because I found that whole combination of seeds hilarious, because I don't know. I guess it's because the actors do such a great job of playing their parts and telling the story that you feel like you're a part of the world, right? And you're in some way experiencing the same things that they are experiencing, and so it's like you are also desensitized to the death and all of that, and your need for survival surpasses your compassion and emotions. So because you're so desensitized, then you can find things like this funny. I'm not going to say, you know what, it's not even just this show, because there's other shows where the way how they construct these scenes, you can't do anything but find it funny. Or maybe something's wrong with me, but yeah, in any case, I'm disappointed in myself for finding it funny. I'm actually stifling back laughter right now, thinking about it, but anyway. It's really bad. If you guys are laughing about it too, you need to feel bad about it. Anyways, that's my last point for the review. Um, if you guys have any comments, please write them below. Um, whether you agree or disagree with me, I like to hear all points of view. Um, follow me on Twitter, subscribe, check out the description. I'm going to put a link to a very awesome group on Facebook, The Walking Dead Jamaica. Just request to join. We post the promos as they come out, links to watch the episode, very engaging discussions, all of that good stuff. So anyways, until next time for The Walking Dead, I can't wait. Oh, and I gave it 4 out of 4. 4 out of 4 only because we didn't have as much action this week, and that's part of what I love about The Walking Dead, the action and the suspense. So even though it was a really good episode, I still give it 4 out of 5 because it didn't have that. Anyways, bye guys.